This video is for business leaders who want themselves and their senior leaders to behave with the outstanding professionalism which makes them the people look up to, respect, and want to work with. So watch to the end of this video for bonus insights and strategies that will make a lot more sense in context. I want to talk about the wife beater or muscle shirt in the room. Professionals are not what they wear, but what they do and how they behave. Any idiot or criminal can wear a business suit, but few, even in Fortune 500 companies, behave with the outstanding professionalism we're all capable of. Think about Enron, think about the housing crisis. Every person there was wearing a business suit. So suits, as in this picture here, that's what everybody, including me, I'm guilty of it, see as professionalism, whereas professionalism is in behavior and conduct rather than a uniform that as I said, any idiot or criminal can wear. So here's the overview, but watch on because you'll miss things that aren't as obvious as you might think with respect to executing with professional strength the way that you would like to, and the benefit you are going to get out of this video if you watch the whole thing. So the first one is very simple. Follow up immediately when possible. Follow through. Similarly, say no or let it go. So that's the whole framework of this video, but I'm going to go into details which are worth sticking around for. It's so ironic because I spent a decade in product licensing, talking to many Fortune 500 companies, some of the biggest conglomerates in the world. And I can tell you, I can absolutely assure you that there are plenty of people, even in Fortune 500s, that do not behave in a very professional way, or behave far less professionally than they could, clearly by choice and because they don't have the accountability to do so, and don't seem to be interested in doing it. So what I just said is obvious, right? Everybody knows that. So why do most people never do it? And that what I mean by that, of course, is most professionals behave in a professional manner, especially since almost everyone agrees on the points that I made, what professionalism looks like, professionalism in the workplace in particular. But, when you're outside of your work, you should still behave in that way. Sure, you can dress that way, but that doesn't make you behave in that way. You'd be better to wear a muscle shirt and shorts and sandals and behave professionally than wear a business suit and not do so. So today will be about what, why, and most important, how to do this, since most of us fail to follow up, follow through when we know we should. Now, those are the reason I'm going to focus on those in particular, but all of them is those are the ones that people fail at the most. And it actually comes up in business seminars and Zoom webinars of how to be like a real professional and how to get respect from your peers, things like that, because I've seen it. As though we really need to be told, but clearly it's less about whether we really need to be told and far more about that we really need to choose to do it. So I have a question for you. What was the last thing you followed through on immediately? Let me guess. If it wasn't on the top of your list of priorities, you probably didn't. It's a little hint as to where we're going with some of the bonus material. If you did, I probably have absolutely nothing to teach you about how to follow up and maybe follow through as an outstanding professional in the workplace that you obviously are, because you're doing that kind of stuff. So everyone's busy. That's honestly a poor excuse. I was going to use other words, but I'll keep it clean today. So that's honestly really is a totally poor excuse. Oh, I'm busy. Yeah, so is everybody else on earth. It's a great excuse, but it is not the same as taking responsibility and being that professional. So to follow up like an exceptional the executive you are, follow up instantly whenever you possibly can, even if that's just to defer for a more complete or appropriate response, which you must then follow up on as promised. So it could be, hi, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on my way somewhere right now. I can't, but I'll get back to you by Tuesday. And then do it. Now, if that's not possible, delegate. It is the next best option, or in some cases, it's the very best option. However, doing it yourself is part of the professionalism I'm talking about. So the next one is defer if you can't do the previous two. And even then, what you should do is you should make damn sure to schedule when you will follow up. And the sooner you schedule, the sooner you follow up, the better. Follow through is exactly the same pattern as I just talked about. Now, if you don't follow up or follow through as promised, stop calling yourself a professional and consider changing jobs. And I'm not joking about that. So next one is to say no immediately, politely, and professionally if you're unwilling or unable to follow up or follow through with professional strength and integrity. So if you can't do it, say no. You don't have to do that in a rude way. You don't have to say yes to everything, and you can't say yes to everything. Anything shy of that is unprofessional, disrespectful, or both, and you waste their time and yours. Last and worst, or least preferred, if that's the words you want to use, let it go. So this isn't ghosting or ignoring someone until they get the hint. That's utterly childish and the opposite of professionalism in the workplace. And believe me, this happens all the time. When I was doing the product licensing, instead of somebody saying, no, we're not interested in your product, I could phone them and they would just ignore me for, I usually call once a week, just once. And sometimes it was months. And after 1 or 2 months, you just give up. But the point is, they could say on the first time, yeah, we looked at your product and it's just not a good fit for us. That would have been the end of it. It would have saved my time. It would have saved their time and them being disturbed if they're in their office listening to this call or whatever it is. I know that's not the case anymore. I'm old enough to remember the old answering machines. But the bottom line is all they had to do was say no like a professional. No problem. Thank you for not wasting my time. And it would have been on to the next company, the next potential licensee. So letting go may mean apologizing to someone because we're all human and we all make mistakes. So letting go could be you just screwed up. You made a mistake. You didn't get back when you meant to, or any number of other things, or just saying, look, I know I promised that, but I'm afraid I have to retract that commitment. I just can't do it now. Or I've decided it's not suitable in this case. Just do it. Be a grown-up. And then it may in rare cases mean that you're dealing with a nut or a stalker. That is, you have to do one of these, the no or the letting go. But just remember, if somebody's a nut, and some people might be upset by that language, remember that mental illness is virtually never a choice. Nobody would choose to be mentally ill, but willful unprofessionalism or willfully unprofessional behavior usually is a choice. So if somebody can't help it, it's not their fault. If somebody's just behaving poorly as a professional or lacking as a professional, that was just a choice they made, and they are clearly not a professional. So even if it gets to the level of you needing to let go, you can always behave like a professional up to the limit of having to defend yourself physically from some attacker. Even then, outstanding professionalism and ethical behavior will prevent or make that limit unlikely to ever happen in your entire career. So congratulations for watching all the way to the insights. So this is sort of about science and science, wisdom, why and how you should behave in an outstanding or with outstanding and professional strength. This goes back to the start of this video and is essentially mindfully focus on them first, then yourself. That is, think of how you would perceive if you call someone and they get back to you immediately, how that makes you feel and how you perceive them as a professional. Answer that question, because of course you have interest in what you want to do for yourself, but so does everybody else. And that's why so few people at all levels behave and conduct themselves in a less than exceptionally professional way, which is good for you, because if you choose to do it, you will stand out or be outstanding for doing so. So the next thing is to bring something else out, and it's like, you're not demonstrating power or importance if you're not busy and you could get back to somebody. Really what you're demonstrating there is narcissism. You're being deceptive and you're being manipulative. Sure, you can do that and go, I'm a big dog, I don't have to get back to you. But is that really? Think about the times people have done that to you. Did you think, wow, they're so important, they'll never get back to me, I'm really impressed with their professionalism? I'm thinking not. So if you're available 24/7, on the other hand, you do need to set limits on your availability, make commitments, following through, and start working on yourself as a professional. Of course, you shouldn't be available all the time, but if you're a professional and you're doing things and you're developing yourself, that's basically going to be impossible. If not, again, maybe this is one of those times you want to stop calling yourself professional and get a different job. So let me give you an example of how this can happen in real life. Years ago, I was struck by somebody who directly, immediately, politely, and professionally said no to my product licensing. It was like, no, it's not a good fit for us, but we'd love to hear any new submissions you have if you should have them. That was it. Now, what's really interesting about this is when she said this, she was very direct, very immediate, and very polite and professional. And she stood out simply because she did that. And I've made hundreds of these calls, probably thousands. Most people in product development aren't that professional in their behavior. Years later, I called back the same company to submit another product for license consideration. And of course, since I had her name, I used her name. And they says, oh, well, she's now the president of the company. She's been promoted. So this was like 2 or 3 years later. I was impressed, but I wasn't surprised, because she was outstanding simply because she just says, no, it's not a good fit for us, but if you have other submissions, we'd love to hear from you. That was it, which is the opposite of what literally the vast majority of people in that area, in all companies, including those Fortune 500s I keep mentioning, do. They just try to ghost you because they're not mature enough human beings, and they're not displaying the kind of professionalism in the workplace that you would imagine that people say and could do, but don't. So if you like this video and you got something of value out of it, please share the love by sharing this video. This has been Crush It Club 205, Professionalism in the Workplace, Professional Strengths. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.